Hello there YouTube, this is the Rogue Gem Player and coming at you with a Spellbook Runic deck profile. I do want to preface, it's been about 10 days since I uploaded a video, but things have come up, that type of thing. But I do want to preface that I want to thank everyone for who has subscribed to this point. As of last week, we hit 100 subs, which is a really big accomplishment. I absolutely appreciate the effort that people have put in, watching my videos, subscribing, commenting, that type of thing. That being said, info just released. That means there'll be decks coming up. That some of them, I'm ordered cards in the mail. I'm just waiting for them to come in. So keep that in mind. I do have other things, kind of like not really branching off, but I do have other things coming up that kind of help supplement the deck profiles and the Yu-Gi-Oh related content, because I do work 5 days a week. My days off are kind of there to kind of recuperate, maybe sometimes record, so keep that in mind. Yeah, in case people are wondering, I do all my recording on 1 or 2 days a week, and then I upload and schedule them over the course of the week when I do have time to do it. So keep that in mind. That's why some deck profiles look like they've been recorded one after another. That's because that's how I have to do it, because I don't have really the ability to kind of just drop what I'm doing and record. So that being said, let's get right into it. This is Spellbook Runic. It's a little bit different than most people are playing, but I like it. So let's start with Spellbooks is kind of one of those decks that really gets a lot of power through its main spell card, Spellbook of Judgment, just generating a bunch of advantage on the very first turn. And Runics really love to generate advantage and then kind of keep that advantage going, and just kind of steamroll your opponent. It doesn't need its battle phase. You can just control your opponent and just deck them out. So start with, for the monsters, we're going to play 3 copies of Spellbook Condition of Prophecy. This is your main, kind of like normal summon. You have lots of ways of getting to this card. You have the three magician, the 3 spell secrets. So you always have access to a monster. It is level 2, so if you kind of want to play other things, the extra deck is kind of whatever you want it to be. I'm just gonna say that right now, just whatever you want it to be. But the main thing is you have to play 3 of it, because it literally says add a spell book. And then because we are playing Judgment, we're gonna play the 1 copy of the Jowgen. I kind of wish there was another really good target, like something that, you can just play. You can play Justice and then play Priestess and things like that, but you don't really need it. But it is one of those, hey, this is an auto win button with the way the game is now, so you might as well play it. So, and then we are playing what's a Magician's Souls package, so we're going to be playing the 1 copy of Illusion of Chaos, and then the 3 copies of Magician's Souls. This is kind of like, because the way the deck operates, you're going to open up a lot of duplicates, because how much draw power this deck has inherently. So in order to combat that, while giving us kind of like more bodies, because this also gives you an extra monster, so you can kind of make Link 3s. The deck really can't make Link 3s or 4s all that well, unless you're going through the Selene line after turn 1, but this allows you to kind of go turn 1, summon a bunch, make access code, Appaloosa, or whatever, extra deck cards you plan on playing. It's kind of cool. So a lot of draw. It just adds draw power. And the thing is even if you open up one of these, you can still kind of just, And the thing is, you can also summon you can summon souls off of Judgment if you really need to. So that's all the monsters. Let's start with the spells. The 3 copies of Judgment. Spellbook of Judgment. This is the best card in the entire Spellbook deck. You want this card to be the first card you resolve and the one you have to resolve with the most effects. That being said, you're going to be resolving it for 3 or 4 cards on a consistent basis because of the way the deck operates. You can play this on top of the Runic stuff, that type of thing. It is also used with Spellbook of Knowledge. I will be explaining that in just a moment. It punishes your opponent for playing a lot of spells in addition to that, so it can be used offensively, defensively, so keep that in mind. 3 copies of Spellbook of Judgment, or Spellbook of Secrets. Main search card, it says Spellbook card, so it does search out the Book Magician, which is pretty important because it means that you always have a normal summon. no matter what, so you always have something that generates you advantage when you need it. And then 2 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge. You don't really... The problem with this deck is that it has so much draw power that you don't really need to play triplicates of everything, unless you absolutely have to. That being said, I do want to preface that when you activate Judgment, or you activate Spellbook of Knowledge, you can activate Judgment in response and send the Judgment, so you don't actually lose advantage for this with this card. So keep that in mind. It is a free draw too in that case, while it doesn't add to the Judgment count. So, and then the only other like duplicate duplicate Spellbook I'm playing is the 2 copies of Spellbook of Fate, because one, it's searchable. It controls. It basically once per turn you're going to get rid of a card your opponent controls that's non-targeting, and you can also recycle it. We do play a couple cards in this deck that do allow you to recycle it, so keep that in mind. And then for one-ofs, we're playing the 1 copy of the Grand Spellbook Tower. I'm actually testing this. I find that putting a card that says my opponent is going to get a card every turn outside of Fountain is kind of neat. It does recycle your Spellbook, so it's kind of one of those slow grind game cards. You can cut it if you'd like. I'm just kind of testing it. And then the 1 Spellbook of Master, this card says you can copy any of the normal spells. So in this case, it copies Secrets, Knowledge, and then it copies Eternity, which allows you to recur banished spellbooks. So it allows you to kind of use Fate to banish something and then recur it. So it gives you more books to play. And then the 1 Wisdom, because it protects you from imperm and things like that. The reason why you're playing names like this is because Judgment needs different Judgment needs names or more targets, to kind of play around with, because you aren't always going to be just adding secrets every single time. You need to add other things, and this is kind of one of those, hey, we got a couple names, it gives you advantage for like no reason. And then in worst case scenario, you can discard it for other things. And then for the Runic stuff, we are playing the 2 copies of the Runic Fountain, at least until they either put it to 1, ban it, or whatever they want to do with it. So keep that in mind. And then we are playing the 3 copies of the Tip, your search card / advantage, search card. It's a card you can play, add a card. The 3 copies of Freezing Curses, 3 copies of Flashing Fire, the 3 copies of Slumber, and the 3 copies of Destruction. You're basically playing 3 of the best ones in the entire deck. And then we are playing a couple one-ofs just because it's just they're good. They're good cards when you can play it. The 1 copy of Smiting Storm. This can be played under any circumstances. It's kind of a runic spell that you can just always activate no matter what. And then the 1 copy of Dispelling, because it's another name. Most cases you're going to use their effects to summon monsters. But they are like they're runic spells that you can activate without having something without your opponent having something or having some other card. Especially if your extra monster zone is locked up, you at least have something you can play to trigger the Fountain. And then we're playing 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, because why the heck not? This card says draw 1 card, but it doesn't. But giving your opponent life points doesn't matter because you don't ever access your battle phase. And in addition to that, is another activation for Judgment. So that's the main deck. No traps. This is kind of one of those, let's just grind our opponent down to a halt. So for the extra deck, we are playing 2 copies of Hugin, the 2 copies of Gary, the 1 copy of Freki, and the 1 copy of Sleipnir. These are the runic monsters that you are playing in this deck. You can play Hugin if you need to, or the level 3. It completely depends. You can change the ratios however you like. You can cut them for other things, but this is just what I like. So for the extra, for kind of like the link stuff, it basically is an open book. You're either going to access it or you're not. Especially since Jaugen is on board, so it's kind of just one of those what-if scenarios. Almirage, because of Book Magician. IP, because it's a link to. Hita, because why not? Especially considering Snake Eye is still a problem. So it allows you to kind of still link climb. Nightmare Phoenix, for those corner cases to getting rid of spell traps. So, and then For the higher link monsters, we're playing the 1 copy of Unicorn, the 1 Celine. You've got the Celine combo. So we're playing the 1 Promethean Princess and Amblo Whale to kind of supplement this. You can cut it if you like, and then we're playing the 1 copy of Access Code because while you're probably not going to OTK with it, the fact that it says kill cards is kind of important because it allows you to kind of just nuke your opponent for 2 or 3 cards. And in the worst case scenario, if you're not jammed out of your battle phase, it's still a giant beatstick. So, but like I said, the entire extra deck is completely dependent on what you want it to be. I like it. It's kind of cool. There's lots of things you can play. So that's the deck, guys. Like I said, I'm gonna repeat this. I'm extremely thankful for everyone that has subscribed, commented on the videos. I didn't really think I would be able to get to that point. I do this as a hobby. I buy cards, I build decks, you know, I still like building my collection, that type of thing. So thank you guys for subscribing. Now our next goal is to reach 200. Hopefully I can get to that by the end of the year, but who knows. Comment, rate, subscribe, let me know what you guys think, and there'll be more decks coming forth, and there'll be other things coming out. I'll kind of branch out into other things, kind of like a one-off thing. It's not going to be strictly Yu-Gi-Oh related, kind of like one of those once-in-a-blue moon things that people can just tune into if they really want to. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.